You build the team, you set the targets, you launch the campaigns, and then the whole system just grinds to a halt. B2B teams often stall when they ask lead generation to do the work of demand generation, treating early-stage research as if it were a sales-ready inquiry. Demanding immediate conversion from buyers who haven't fully defined their own problem exhausts the market and drives up acquisition costs. Conversely, building massive interest without a clear conversion path allows competitors to capture the buyers you spent months educating. Whether you are staring at 0 inquiries or drowning in 1,000 leads that yield 0 deals, the root cause is identical. The strategy fails to separate intent creation from intent capture. We need to audit your current revenue engine to see where the friction is actually happening. Only then can you balance these two strategies to fit your company's stage. Sustainable growth requires identifying the specific bottleneck in your current process and deploying the strategy that matches your market maturity. Demand generation focuses on the inputs required to make buyers understand their problem and trust your approach long before sales gets involved. The assets used here are built for education, not immediate capture. We're talking about ungated guides, thought leadership content, and account-based brand messaging that clarifies your market value. The goal is to build preference. By the time a buying committee starts formally evaluating vendors, they should already know and trust your perspective. This chart evaluates marketing effort against immediate attribution. Demand generation sits very high on impact, but because its influence happens upstream, it shows up extremely low on immediate attribution. A prospect might read your articles for 6 months before booking a demo. When they finally search your name and convert, attribution models give all credit to the search engine, ignoring the groundwork. To track this accurately, look past form fills, monitor target account engagement, direct website traffic, and the percentage of pipeline influenced by educational touchpoints. Running a successful demand generation program requires you to value qualitative momentum and directional data over the immediate gratification of a raw lead count. Lead generation is your capture mechanism. Its only job is to convert anonymous or loosely engaged interest into identifiable, actionable contacts for your sales team. This logic dashboard shows how qualification works. Place high-value assets behind forms acting as filters for fit, role, intent, and buying stage. Without these qualification rules evaluating your ideal customer profile, lead generation creates administrative cost. The most critical part is active disqualification. You must explicitly reject leads that don't meet your criteria to protect your sales team's time. If you run aggressive lead generation without building demand first, the system breaks. You'll generate a high volume of contacts, but the quality will be low. Teams frequently fall into this trap because raw volume is easy to report. It creates a false sense of security for marketing, while the sales team burns hours calling prospects who have no intention of buying. Lead generation is a filtration system. If the market hasn't been primed to care about the problem, putting aggressive gates in front of them only captures noise. Revenue engines usually fracture at the handoff. Marketing defines success by form submissions. Sales defines success by conversations with ready buyers. Aligning these definitions requires buyer signal matching. Different levels of demonstrated intent must receive entirely different conversion offers. This table matches signals to offers. For someone reading educational content, the right offer is an ungated guide or a newsletter. You don't push them to a sales call yet. However, if someone repeatedly visits a pricing page from a target account, the system should trigger a direct sales demo or a quote request. When you enforce these rules, total lead volume will drop, but because you're matching the offer to the actual readiness of the buyer, the leads that reach sales will convert at a significantly higher rate. Lower lead volume paired with a higher sales win rate is the ultimate indicator of a healthy B2B revenue engine. Playbooks aren't universal. How you allocate resources depends on your market maturity and your immediate pipeline urgency. This decision tree maps common business realities to the optimal marketing strategy. Category creators with a new or misunderstood product must over-index heavily on demand generation. Since buyers don't yet understand the problem, the priority is broad education with a longer horizon for ROI. In contrast, teams in mature markets with urgent pipeline needs must lean into lead generation. Your buyers already know what they need. Your priority is pipeline creation and capturing the people who are actively searching for solutions. If you have high volume but terrible conversion rates, your capture mechanics have outpaced your brand trust. To fix this, you must shift resources upstream to build preference, or tighten your disqualification rules to protect your sales reps. Adopting a competitor's strategy is dangerous if they are operating in a different stage of market maturity. Building a revenue system requires structure and clarity. Demand generation creates the intent, and lead generation captures it. Asking one function to cover the responsibilities of the other causes the pipeline to fail. Neither strategy is inherently superior. They are just designed for different parts of the buyer's journey. Review your current metrics, identify where your buyers are getting stuck, and allocate your budget directly against that specific bottleneck.